Hey, hello everyone. Thanks so much for being here and welcome to today's session, which is actually a WhatsApp group for educators, mostly hard-based like you and me. And the name of the group is Future Ready Educators. The mission of the group is to share insights on how to help educators to be future ready. In fact, the future, in my opinion, is already here. So whether ready or not, it's already here. Today, I am very blessed to have a very good friend of mine, Jolene, and I got to steal her away from her holiday to share with you. So could you clap for her, make some noise in the chat box, and then just to welcome her. And let's welcome my very good friend, Jolene, the founder of Blue Tree Education. Jolene, hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Greetings from Bangkok. I'm in Bangkok.
Yes,
Yeah.
buy anything, ask her to buy for us.
Sure. There's a lot to buy. There's a lot to eat. I'm sure you're all familiar with how foodie Bangkok is. So today it's just like I see a lot of familiar faces like Jace, Edwards. Hello. So in a way, I think I'm also looking forward to learn from all of you. So today's topic is about how the tuition landscape has shifted. Maybe for a start, can I find out like from some of you, are you a private tutor, or are you a tuition center owner, or are you doing related to tuition? Maybe if you could give me some insights of what you do, it would be great.
If you're a private tutor, you can put TT. If you're an education center owner, I think you can put a C. Make it easy for you. And then if you're providing tuition services, maybe put a S for service providers.
Thank you for the Andrew is a service provider.
Facebook marketing.
Very interesting. Hi, lovely to meet you too. Maybe a little bit of background about myself. I actually was in MOE teaching, and then after that, I actually started with just like private tuition for a while, just to see whether is this something that I want to do. And then later on, I pivot into center group tuition, and then now center tuition. So whatever stage that you're in, I've been through it. I've been there, done that. Except for maybe the service provider. This is my 10th year in the tuition space. Sense a lot of change in the parents' profile, the students' profile in the last, I would say, in the last 10 years since I started. But I found the shift exceedingly fast in the last 3 years. And the last 3 years, I find it really fast, especially the pre-COVID, the COVID, and then the post-COVID, that three landscapes. Do you all find it as well? Like the pre, the during, and the post?
And I can do the facilitation. I think we'll leave the words of wisdom from the wise Jolene. So I will get you all to share a bit more. Put a small yes if you find that it's like a small change. Put a super big yes, all caps. You find that actually something is shifting, and then somehow you are caught in the undercurrent as well. You feel it, but probably not very sure about it. When you hear from Jolene, he said that actually it sounds like there are 3 stages right now. I heard 3. Is that what you are saying, Jolene?
3. Pre-COVID, I think that a lot of parents, tuition is like something that they know that their kids need, but whether they want to invest the time and money into it could be optional. They could be at home looking after the children. I find that there were more homemakers pre-COVID as compared to now. So there were a lot of parents who do not mind spending resources and time to understand the education system, the needs of their children, and then really to help them. And they had a lot more time. I would say that they had more time. So that's one of the key difference that I sense pre-COVID. And finally, I also find that pre-COVID wise, the parents have more community supporting them. That's what I see, more communities. During COVID, of course, we all know that intensity because the schools are not catching up and then the children are falling back. So that one, I guess we all knew. And then that's where I feel that the tutoring, the tuition industry suddenly went because the need for good education resources, good tutors, good lessons suddenly intensified. And that's also where I feel that our industry went through a balancing act. Like the ones that are very good will suddenly all pushed into the spotlight, right? And then those that maybe are not, that means maybe they took out this tutoring as a hobby or something, but they all started to fall back, right? During the COVID time, I see a lot of good tutors being pushed into the spotlight, like our dear Jace here. A lot of people will say, hey, this tutor is very good. Why don't you give it a try? Like John also, very humble. Then after that, post-COVID, I feel that people's expectations of tutors became heightened. Because during COVID, higher, they already experience what is a good education lesson, what is a good tutor, how do good resources look like. And our industry also very singing to the parents' need. We also went along with the pace, and in fact, we run faster than them. So during COVID, they were looking for good quality lesson, good teachers, good resources to help their children, right? Because the schools are not able to catch up, right? And then our industry also run in tandem, and even faster. You want good resources, I give you better. You want good lesson, I give you better. In the end now, it's like a norm. It's a norm. if you cannot handle a group of 10, right, people will go like, why you can't? In the past, I find that they're a bit more forgiving and understanding to their different tiers of skills of an individual tutor. But now there's this way of seeing tutors and also normalizing what we can deliver.
So sounds because the parents are so knowledgeable now and there's so much resources and they don't know what, they just ask in the WhatsApp group and they'll get the answer. And because they know so much, so somehow their expectation on the tutors, whoever is going to teach their kid, is also higher. Which also means that the educator have to of a certain standard in the eyes of the parent.
On our side, we see that the expectation went higher. But on the parent side, it's normal. To them, they are not having higher expectation because we have already met it during COVID. And even went and top it up. It's like we get an ice cream and we even top it up with sprinkles and whipped cream. We give them more in the end. Because as tutors, as the one thing about industry is a lot of us are really hard-based. So if people say, I need help, we give then we're like, oh, you don't have money to pay, don't worry. I still got some good things for you. You can still enjoy these premium free resources that I've created. We are very giving people as a whole. But in the end, that allowed the consumers, the parents, to feel that it's normal. Any of us can do this.
Got it.
So that is the trouble. Because
one of the things, I think one of the things is suddenly when we give too much, boundaries seems to be very hazy. So end up as our parents, for us it's because at that point in time we just want to give, we give. So somehow it may cross over our boundary because that's something that normally we don't do. But in the eyes of the consumers, doesn't matter parents or not, in any industry, when you give more, it became an expectation. So for example, let's say I go to Swenson's, and by the way, when I mention any brand name, this session is not sponsored by Swenson's. Don't come and ask me for vouchers. So anyway, imagine one day I go to the restaurant and they gave me maybe a free drink. So next time when I go, I will expect a free drink. Is that what you're saying? If they don't give me, I'll be saying that, hey, your service like that.
Exactly. So now, in that sense, if we are providing that like a lesson, right, it's very normal to hear from a parent that this lesson will come with very good learning notes, personalized curriculum, an online learning platform that gives 24-hour access, 365 days access to video. Common, all right? Yes. And not only that, the tutors speak very well, the tutor is knowledgeable, the tutor knows about the syllabus. Not only that, the tutors are well-dressed, presented, not only that, aligned to their parenting style. You're talking in pre-COVID, this kind of tutors, right, are what we call super tutors. Like I feel really like super tutors, like out of the world. Then, so the parents feel that if I'm paying value for money, pre-COVID, value for money, during COVID, we all went like really giving, like you say, the free drink idea. Now, you can't do less than that. If you do less than that, then they will feel that they're not paying value for money. And the worst thing is, the pricing war still exists in our industry. So it's not as if we're giving more value and then we have no more pricing war. Everybody expects that you have to pay a premium for such services. No. So economically wise looking, because we are still business owners.
Actually, I really like what you're saying. In fact, I have some areas that I want to further discuss. So one is, how can educators set boundaries? I think that's very important while still manage to deliver good service. And the other one is, you mentioned about the price war, which is very true. And in fact, I think the 80-20 rule still apply. 80% of the educators are the traditional ones. Probably the parents will only be looking at 20%, which are the premium ones. So how can they, yes, inevitably they are already in a price war. So what can they do about that?
I think that the first thing in our industry, because of the way that the tuition lessons are delivered, like one of my parents said, everyone is good. I just want to find the better ones. But then after that, she came back to me, she says, you know what? I found a lot of better ones on TikTok. And my child just go in every day and watch free ones. So all the better ones are on TikTok. She said, they are so good. And they're giving me free 1 hour, 2 hours lesson per day. I just have about 3 of them. And then I just watch. And I just save the videos. And I thought to myself, wow, this parent is very resourceful. Yeah. But then after that, when it comes to my own child, and I thought, actually my child is also learning in that way.
I think moving into this era, even, I mean, for myself, I think our kids are about similar age. I got 2 teenagers and they're always on TikTok. And the ways that they learn is different as well. In your opinion, for the older tutors, the uncles like myself, no time to do TikTok, cannot run around, cannot jump around and dance around. So what can we do?
I think that first, for myself, I'm also not a tech person. In fact, I think before we started this sharing, we were just having a little conversation at the sidelines. The first thing that I did was I recognized the children, like the way they learn has shifted. And the parents, the way they get the tutors also have shifted. So I did in my calendar, I applied 1 hour a week. I became very deliberate. I want to say that I want to encourage is one thing to all of us here is be very deliberate about your time. Because it's also linked to what I said earlier, we're very giving. We're very giving. There's no boundaries. In fact, I feel that the word boundary does not exist. It does not exist in our industry. It's not just our industry. Actually, in today's world, there's no more such thing as boundary. The more you want to uphold it, the more you realize that it will collapse on you. So how I live my life now is I will weave in the boundaries. That means my boundaries became very flexible. Now I am away, right? I'm having holiday. August is traditionally like my time away. But it doesn't mean that I won't reply to messages. If I am now trying to hunt for my favorite food in Bangkok, I will not. That's my boundary. But then that's a 5 to 10 minutes boundary. You know what I mean? So you have to weave, I feel. I wanted to come back to my first point. I wanted to share that I became very deliberate. So I actually put in 1 hour a week to learn about the latest tool. So for example, TikTok. I will tell you my first TikTok live, I failed so miserably because I have no idea what does this mean. It looks so different from Facebook Live and IG Live because they have so many buttons. And then I got very frustrated. And I thought that, I done such a bad job. The students will not getting any value. Of course, like many of you have shared, it doesn't matter. At the end, you just be authentic. I understand. But however, I have a certain branding for my Blue Tree education. I have a certain branding. So I also wanted to put this out there. It is true that we should be authentic. But at the end, people see our professional side. So if you are, which I also have those experience, I see some tutors, they rant about their MOE experience or they rant about their parents. I certainly will not pay for them because I will be worried that such vibes will be cast on my child. But that's me as a consumer. But for my parents, the audience that I serve, I know that they also have similar values and traits. So for me, while it's important to be authentic, I don't want to fumble and show the other side of me. So what I did was 1 hour per week, I put aside to learn the tools that I want to use. So actually I learned like TikTok, I put 1 hour, I see like maybe Anson's video, I see what he do. Then I see, so he put his camera, maybe like this angle. I'm trying to like, he put his camera. And then I see how he protected his students' privacy. He never really showed their face. He showed his face. So I thought that's very good. I devoted my time to learn all this, right? But at the end, if you notice about my own TikTok, I never went live. I only went twice. So after I learned, I also realized that, no, I'm not that kind of teacher. So learning about the tool is important because we are dealing with people of the future. But at the end, it's still your decision whether you want to use that tool to promote yourself and your business. And I want to tell you all that it's all right. It's all right not to jump onto the wagon, and it's all right not to be like a TikTok star in that sense. It's no need to FOMO, but I know it. I learned about it and I know it. It does not mean that you'll be kicked behind. That's what I'm trying to say. It's what I do the videos, as in I record, I edit. That is my style because at the end, there's this professional side that I want to show. And I am still committed to the authentic side of me, which is I like to show how food and science work together. So my TikTok video got a lot of like funny food, like the science behind. So this is still me. To me, it's being authentic means that what do you believe in the first place and not on like you gabra and then you say, like, this is me. Like the authentic is like the values you believe in. It's for me, it's a bit different how I define what is authenticity. When I do all these videos and to ensure that it presents the best professional side of me, you'll be surprised that our parents who message me, not many. I can't say that it's as many as my walk-in, but certainly I had one. Like yesterday, I just had a conversation with this daddy who found me through TikTok. It turned out to be a fantastic conversation. He will not sign up for my regular lesson because his child is currently with another center and happily with the center. It's fine. But the entire conversation allowed me to understand, wow, so there are parents who think this way. How do we know how the landscape has shifted? It's also through the conversations with parents. I speak to an average of 10 to 20 parents a day, which 1 month I will speak to about easily 100. So it's like, I know I want to be connected to what they need, what they're looking out for, and not like at the sideline from a third party, from a very far point of view. Oh, I think they need this. I think they want this. I hear my tutor friends tell me, I don't want that. I want to be directly. The conversation was a mind blown for me.
Nice.
He was looking for a second center to support his child. Because his child's going to PSLE next year, he wants to ensure have a higher success rate that his child will get AR1. He stated his expectations super clear. And that is the other shift that I noticed. The parents now, as compared to pre-COVID, they are super detailed about the expectation. They really know.
I think before we go to the third one, I just want to help our audience here to contextualize what we covered so that I can do a summary. So what I'm hearing is for TikTok as well as any social media that you are on, I think at the end of the day, you need to be highly aware of what's your own style. If you are not sure, I think one of the ways is to look at what content you are consuming, what content you are attracted to. If you always like to watch Anson, guitar, and dance and sing, probably there's something that you resonate with. And then you ask yourself, what is it that you want to follow? Besides his charm, that's a keyword. So you need to do what is comfortable for you, and I think it has to be sustainable as well. Don't do 1 or 2 times because you just want to ride the wave. Then you find yourself so tired and fatigued, then you don't do it anymore.
You feel very lousy. You feel that why I can't do what people do.
Correct. Or you dread it. So you're going to do something that you like to do. I understand that where Jolene comes from, the food, knowing her, she likes to eat food. So every time we meet, it's all about food. But if you are into something else, try to find something that links with a subject matter, and then you see what you can resonate with. Because the more you do something that you enjoy, the more you do it. Okay, so now we can go into the parents are more focused, which I totally agree. And being a parent myself, I think we are more well informed with a lot of resources, with a lot of information. And also now probably we are more hands-on as well. We can say that most parents right now are more aware of what their kids need.
I actually see that the AI, we all know that the parents are changing. I feel that everybody knows. Nobody will say no, they are the same. The last 2 years, because of AI, it has made not just parents, I feel everyone, the changes are very fast. Tuition is in a very traditional space, but AI is obviously very futuristic. So a lot of times when I speak to teachers, though we know that AI is important and we know that it's here and we know that we must use the tools to help us, to help the children to learn. But however, many of us remain very lost as to how to use it successfully because we're in a very traditional space. So the way we see AI is really very far away situation. And the information that we get is really like what John says, what you consume, what you believe in. So for myself, when I noticed that, I slowed down and again, I devoted time to read instead. I told myself I shall not take the information from the video because as you all know, we are all tracked. What you consume is actually the story that you believe in. So I told myself I cannot let the phone dictate the story or the cookie dictate the story that I believe in. So I went to research on some basic books about AI and I read about it. And so I was very surprised that AI exists since 1950s. And maybe for a lot of you, maybe you already know, but I really didn't know. It was based on large-based language model. And then I went to read about what is LLM. Then I was like blown. So LLM came about because these language people, they wanted to find out the patterns to be able to predict. Wow. When I went to read the more I read about AI, the more I realized that what I knew about AI wasn't what a lot of people believe in. When I devoted my time to learn more, I had a lot of other realizations. So now our parents, they are likely to know more than you. They are likely to be able to use the AI tools to find the information better than you, better than us, better than me. So they are very well informed. So what would make them want to commit into tuition? Despite the large amount of information out there, and ChatGPT is getting very accurate in providing the answers. And by the way, for science, I had this parent who believed that ChatGPT is absolutely correct and argued with my teacher. So ChatGPT told her that steam is water droplets. And that's the absolute truth to her. So she went into an argument with my teacher and she deemed as we are in the wrong. My teachers are not trained. So already this is happening.
So sounds like we have a situation now whereby the parents, actually I'm also a parent, Jolene's a parent as well. What we are saying here is we are in a discussion whereby we really want to see how we, the tutors, can work together with the parents in this era of shifting trends. Because at the end of the day, ultimately, I believe, again, it's my own value, to help the child, instead of just seeing as only the tutor can help the child, the teacher can help the child, I think it should be a collective effort to help the child together so that 3% can lift the child to the highest point.
I agree, but I'm just trying to say that beforehand, if we make a mistake in our teaching or our knowledge, I feel that there's some space and room to navigate. But now, because of AI and the accessibility of information, it gives us no room to maneuver. So sometimes the way that the parents get the information and use it may not be known to you anymore. Because in the past, if a parent were to ask me a question, I will ask, which book did you refer to? And what? But now, you do not know which AI tool they access. And it's very hard for. So that's what I'm trying to say. So at the end, why would the parent continue to work with you as a tutor for their child?
So I have two questions here. I'm very curious because I think your situation will be something that if you don't face it now, we may face it in the future for ourselves now. And then probably you're also trying to drive towards that will be, what is the evolved role of an educator in the eyes of parents to the kid?
The first thing that noticed was, in the past we already know that, but I feel that now is even more important. In fact, I don't find it necessary. It's no longer important, this skill. All tutors must be an excellent communicator. The word is excellent.
We find that.
Tutors listen to reply, but you should listen to understand. When the parent was sharing about the way she was looking for information about the concepts and how she was trying to validate what she found the teacher was listening to reply, and therefore, in the end, resulting in an unsatisfactory conversation. But if the teacher listened to understand, which I did, I listened to understand, then I realized that she was very fearful of science. She is actually not good in science herself as a child. So when she wanted to help her child, she had to turn to AI tool because it's so easily accessible. So when I listened to understand, then I told her that, don't worry. I assured her, I said, don't worry. I will ensure that my teachers spend time to understand this topic of water cycle much better with your child to ensure that your child's WA will pass. Being an excellent communicator, again, is please listen to understand and do not just listen to reply. Because the parents these days have a lot of fears.
This is a session for us to rant and to complain, to tell each other of our fear. And that's part two. Now we go back to the serious stuff.
When it comes to the children learning in school, if you are a parent like us, you will also notice that there's a great shift in the way that the information is transmitted to our children and the way that the learning is taking place. But PSLE is still there. O-level is still there. The elephant in the room is still there. So that is something that you will realize that there's this gap. And the parents know, they know it, but they do not know how to articulate it. The WA still happens. And they know that the WAs do not represent the full performance of their children. They know it, but they don't know how to articulate. And therefore, how do you as a tutor help to bridge the gaps to tell them that you can help their child successfully without compromising things like enough rest, emotional needs? The parents today, as compared to in the past, they still want the academic success, but they want you to ensure their child's emotional and mental wellness as well.
I think it's age, and I don't deny that. Type, actually, when Jolene, she role play what she say to the parents, type, good or great, if you find there's something that you are aligned with as well. I think being social work trained, that's something that all of us have to learn when we talk to our beneficiaries. And one of the things that all of you can Google after the session is this thing called non-violent communication. And what this does, it's a 5-step framework whereby you actually resolve the conflict by connecting with the person. And also, like what Jolene said, you listen to understand, not listen to listen.
I think that at the end, so say the first thing is excellent communicator, be a future ready. The second one, like I already mentioned, to be very deliberate with your time. And the third thing is, I think now it is, you really need to be highly adaptable, highly flexible. One of the traits of a very good teacher that I've noticed is we tend to be perfectionists. We tend to be, we tend to be very deep in our certain beliefs. I give you an example. So for myself, I believe deeply that discipline and consistency is the way to academic success. I believe deeply in this. But the last 1 year, I see my own child learn, my own child. I see the way he's learning, and it challenged that perspective. He's not disciplined, he's not consistent. He's a last-minute worker, and he's already in secondary 4. But he's highly successful in his studies. It's because of the availability of tools now available, the tools available to them. When we were young, we only have books and teachers and books. But now they have study groups, Zoom sessions, 24-hour access, TikTok free tutors, AI tools. They have a lot of tools available. Precisely. And not only that, their friends also have access. They become so resourceful that they combine their resources, and in a very short time frame, they became very effective learners in a short time frame. It's not like us in the past. So I see that. So when it challenged this value system, I became highly uncomfortable. Right? So when I talk to parents now these days, I really try to listen to how learning takes place, how this child learns, and I try not to judge. You must be highly flexible and highly adaptable. At the end, many of us believe in a partnership, the parent-teacher partnership that can strengthen the child's learning journey. And then last but not least, I think that the tutors these days, one of the skills is good to have in our toolbox is again, set your own process for the student. From the onboarding to the feedback to the following up, you need to have a very good process going. So one of the things that really propel Blue Tree success is processes. We have very good processes that were set in place, and we keep refining them, of course. But because of these processes, it's like in every step, the parents know what we're doing. Although we need to be highly flexible and highly adaptable, and the world is changing, at the end of the day, when it comes to a child, routine matters. So it gives the parents a lot of assurance that as for whether is it a private tutor or a center like that, there is a process. So they know what to expect. After your first lesson, you will have a lesson update, and then there will be homework. The homework is 30 minutes, for example. So when I have conversations with the parents, I realize that they are so busy. They are so super busy. All right. They feel extremely comforted and encouraged when you have a routine that works for their child. You have to even go into detail every week your homework, right? How much time is needed to complete that homework? So I always tell them, if your child is weak in this subject, still struggling, developing, then 45 minutes. If your child is an average, then maybe 30 minutes. If your child is, already like expert, 15. They know what to expect. You cannot change this. So this will require you to really deep dive into all of us got different children profile, deep dive into the student's learner profile, and then really come up with a process that works.
Okay, so come up with a routine, even down to the minutes.
The parents are very comforted and encouraged by the routine that you set that works for their child, because they are very busy these days. So when they come home, if they know that their child is developing, like I have a parent, the child is developing in science, trying to get AL5, right? So I told the parent, every week, set a day. So she says Friday. I said Friday. So Friday, I spent 45 minutes on my homework. So she says, so 7 to 7:45 is the child's routine. And who set this routine? It's not the mom, because I told her how much time. Then after that, then she says, then what else must I do? They will always ask you, what else, teacher, must I do? So make sure you have a follow-up process as well for them to, it's like a for sure revision method. We are very highly personalized service provider. So it's very important to check the stories that you believe in. And the stories that we believe in also depends on the season that we are in, the journey that brought us. So anyway, coming back to this. So the first thing is be very kind and be very deliberate into putting both perspectives aligned. Putting both perspectives aligned, because at the end, it's for the child, right? So if the child is currently at AL6, check the child's learning style, the child's learning challenges, the child's learning strength, all right? Then after that, check your own teaching style, your own teaching strength, your own teaching weakness. Does it align? So if this child is scoring AL6 with you, maybe if the child goes to another tutor, the child may be AL2. I've seen it. I've seen it before. So does the learning style and the teaching style aligned? So that one, check first. Then be very kind and then listen to the parents. Yes, I know that a lot of times the child maybe did not revise sufficiently at home, but you need to understand the home situation. I had this student, he was like that. Then when I understood the home situation more, then I realized that it was not kind of me to expect the child to study at home, because that child, from Monday to Friday, he's with his grandma. And his grandma's house is a one-room flat. So where he studies is at the door. His study table is literally at the door where the grill is. So he is always being distracted by people walking. So once I understood, then I started to design a routine that he can use when he's
Wow.
at his parents' place over the weekend or when he's with me. So I got him. So we all need to check all these things first. Then after that, tell the parent directly but very kind that these are the current areas to work on. So for science, there are only 3 areas: content mastery, keyword, and answer technique. So you have to be very clear the processes, which areas the child needs work on. And if the child really has improved, let's say on content mastery, you have to be very numerical. Like the number is like a number. So if let's say the child really, let's say 80% content mastery is there, it'll be AL4, confirm guarantee chop like that. When you tell the parent, be very assured. Oh, so my child needs content mastery, needs to memorize or need to like understand the concept or need to read the textbook. I don't know what methods you ask. And the mother really did it in 1 month. And in that 1 month, did it really confirm will get AL4? So if let's say now you tell the mother this and the parents say, yes, I will work with you on that, and your AL4 must land. And if it lands, good. Then you have another conversation again with the mom. So first step, align, learning, teaching. Second, be very kind to understand the home situation. Third, give very specific KPIs and strategies. All right. Fourth, have that conversation again, break down into bite-sized goals. AL6 to AL2, maybe you need AL5, and then AL4, and then AL3. Have a lot of conversations. 4 steps. So in Blue Tree, if there's a parent like that, we all know 4 steps. 4 steps. And that 4 steps have to be put in the Excel sheet where the HOD is also aware of what you are doing. But a lot of times, because we're very busy, it's all just talk. Just talk. And messages. It's just messages and verbal conversation. There is no tracking. So again, tracking process.
My main business is primary school math, and it's called learning out of the box. At the end of the day, we just want everyone to do well in your niche. Even though it's teaching primary school math, I also wish you all the best. Nowadays, we do have live updates from class. Whatever we do right, we provide instant live update to the parents. So when the parent drop their kids calls, the images of what we wrote on the whiteboard is being sent to the parents straight away. When the first parent come to me and he tell me, wow, it's as if I'm in your class. I know exactly what my kids doing. And nowadays, it's a way for me to keep the parents updated without asking the kids what's happening in class.
I just want to say that at the end, since we're all aware that everyone's very busy, and we also expect the parents to be kind to us, the parents also hope that the teachers are kind to them and be understanding to their situation. Although they know that their child is their responsibility, it takes some acceptance and some space. Allow them to hold space to come to terms.
Ultimately, one is having a parent's role, the other one is having a tutor's role or a teacher's role. Ultimately, at the bottom line of the conversation, as in at a deeper level, is actually 2 human beings are talking to each other, having conversation, trying to connect. And most importantly, same as what we yearn for as well, we just want to be heard and understood. So I think the world can definitely thrive more with more kindness now. And actually, just need to listen now.
And not easy to be
Not
honest.
easy.
Sometimes because we are maybe because at the wrong time.
I just want to do a quick wrap up of some of the things that I caught. And I feel that it's very important that it should also be one of the few highlights of the session. All these are my thoughts. Even as someone at your level, I noticed that Jolene actually took time to learn things. And I understand that all of us are busy and we don't have time. But really, my honest opinion, if Jolene can take time out to learn, to move her business up to the next level, why can't a private tutor do that? So at the end of the day, I think it's what we do with our time. And I like the way that you put it is a deliberate action on it. How you make use of time is really up to you. In fact, I also noticed that as you share more, I think as a tutor, our role, we are wearing multiple hats. One of the roles that I feel that you put in very nicely is the coaching hat. Keeping the kids in motion, keeping their plans in check, conversing with the parents, connecting the parent to the child, connecting the child to the parent. Also get commitment from the child and the parents on the goal, as well as if there's a need to downsize the plan or upsize the plan. Anything else you want to say before we end the session?
The fact that you're all in the teaching industry, please give yourself a big round of applause. This is not my first work industry. I've been in other jobs before. Please be incredibly forgiving to the mistakes that you make. Be incredibly kind to yourself and be incredibly positive about whatever comes your way. So this is just something that I really want to say.
Thanks for being here. We will try to organize a session like this every month. And all these are good friends and they come on board is because of the trust in our mission in getting educators to be future ready. Jolene, thanks so much for that. Take care.